Edward Teller and some other scientists were exploring the impacts. Obviously, this is the height of the Cold War, nuclear winter. And how is that connected to the evolution of what is geoengineering?
Well, it's connected in an interestingly unexpected way. When people talk about nuclear power throughout the early part of the 20th century, they link it in their minds with power over climate, because it seems like a sort of like ultimate godlike power. And so the great British radiochemist Soddy, when he writes the first popular treatment of radioactivity in the early 20th century, talks about how it can destroy ice caps and make deserts bloom. That's what nuclear energy does. Same thing happens straight after the Second World War. Julian Huxley, Aldous Huxley's brother, talks about maybe melting the Arctic ice and making a new world for us all up in the Arctic, and this is the power of the atom. But when people like Teller actually talk about using atomic weapons, atomic power to actually fight wars, oddly, this story goes in reverse, and for many, many years, people do not talk about the climate impacts of nuclear war. And now it seems, again, in retrospect, blazingly obvious that if you set off huge fires over much of the surface of the Earth, you might do something to the climate. But there's a sort of like studied, and I don't think deliberate, but definitely psychologically telling, refusal to engage with that. And so the idea of nuclear winter comes about much later than most people think. I mean, I've chosen to correct some fairly eminent historians on this, that they all talk, oh, nuclear winter, that idea of the 60s and 70s. No, it starts in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. It was an idea, it was a way of thinking about the world, a way of thinking about human power within the world that was very late to come to attention, because there was a vested interest in thinking that in some ways nuclear power could end the world without changing it.